Hello everybody. Today is my second video and I don't know what this video is going to be about, but I'm just going to try to explain some of my thoughts and what's been going on in my head. Life is crazy. Ever since I was little, I always had a different conception of the world and I saw things bigger. I saw the bigger picture in things. I didn't see the small little things, the things we do day to day to get by. None of that stuff really interested me. I really just wanted to make an impact on the world that was bigger than myself and help other people. So when I see people so laser focused on daily things, whether it's, getting groceries, going to work, going to social events, other things like that. It all just bores me. I work a job, I go to school, I have friends and family that I spend time with, but none of it really clicks for me because I know that there's like a bigger purpose in this world for every one of us. And we really need to think deeper about life and think more into, okay, how is the spiritual world impacting me? How is God impacting me? And look into that and look into our relationship with things that are greater than ourselves. Because even if you have no one in this world, you will always have God or that spiritual presence that's helping you along. And I think that's so important for us to remember. But, it's hard for me to say if I'm in the right and other people are in the wrong because there's so much consistency in doing everything every day and getting things done. It all looks good on paper, so that's sometimes why I feel like I fall behind in life. It's because I'm not able to grasp these simple concepts that people are able to do so easily. I would say I'm a fairly functional person, but I'm not the best at everything I do. I think I do some things pretty well, but I don't see myself as the best at really anything. I just see myself as a thinker. And it's a blessing and a curse. I think some of the reasons why I've gotten into so much trouble these past few years is because I've thought too deeply about things, and I've tried to get out of reality in many different ways, whether that was using drugs, meditation, overthinking, or just obsessing over certain things. I have a very addictive personality. I'm not able to do something once and then put it down. I continually chase the same types of things when it makes me feel good. And that lack of self-control, I feel like, is what's holding me back. And I know I could be doing better in a lot of areas. I try not to focus on the things I'm doing wrong and try to focus more on the things I'm doing right. Because if you're always caught up on what you're doing wrong, then you're never going to be able to actually live. You're never going to be able to put one foot in front of the other and do something positive. I think there's a lot of people out there that are struggling right now, that don't know what to do, they don't know where to go, they don't know who to take advice from. And I'm kind of like that too. Sometimes I feel really lost. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And that's one of the hardest things for me to grasp, is that I might not be doing everything right. I'm a perfectionist, so when I do something wrong, it hurts deep down and it tears at my ego. Yeah, I feel like, excuse me, there's a whole lot of things I'm doing wrong, and I understand that, but there's also a few things I'm doing right, and I just want to focus on those things. And I got a lot of big dreams. I want to be a musician. I want to be a video creator. I want to be a designer, an artist. There's so many things I want to do. And sometimes I feel like it just doesn't work. Like when I put out a video, it doesn't get a ton of reception. Or when I put out a song, it doesn't do as well as I thought it was going to do. And it definitely puts me in a negative headspace when I don't get that reception. Like, I want people to enjoy what I'm putting out. So it always makes me rethink what I'm doing. Like, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I not good enough for what people want? And it causes me to reevaluate myself. Like, what's really going on inside my head? Like, how are people receiving what I'm putting out? But, one thing I've also realized is that I can't be isolated. If I'm in this isolated space where all I'm doing is making content, or all I'm doing is making music, or all I'm doing is going to school or going to work, then I'm going to be really sad. I have to find other things to do, and a lot of that comes from socializing. That's how I get, charged up. That's how I get my energy back. And socializing is like really key for me in that sense. I don't really know what kind of videos I'm gonna make on this channel. I want to do more in-depth stuff about spirituality and philosophy because I have a lot of ideas about those things. But in general, I just want to make content that people would find enjoyable and something that I think is cool myself. So I'm going to do everything I can to make that happen. And there's so much out there to talk about. There's so many topics. I went through this phase spiritually where I thought I was God. And it's something that I've held on to for a long time now because it's really helped me get through things. Because I'm like, if I'm God, I start playing out all these scenarios in my head of like, how would God do this, or what would God do in this situation? And it's kind of an empowering thing to walk around like thinking you're God. And it sounds crazy to say to someone else, like, I think I'm God. You sound like a crazy person. And you honestly should, because there's no way to prove that anyone's God. There's no way to prove that God exists. There's no way to prove that God would ever be in human form. But sometimes I feel like there's certain signs in my life that point towards the fact that I might be God. And who knows, maybe there's more than one God. Maybe there's other gods out there. Maybe there's gods walking all over this earth. And we're all kind of doing this dance of, I'm God, they're God, who's the real God? I do think there's gods walking on earth right now. But there's no way to scientifically or mathematically really prove that God exists now. So everything that you say about God is just an idea. It's just a concept in someone's mind. So I don't know, it's made me think a lot about who I am, and hopefully moving forward it does some good for me, because I do feel like there are positive spiritual forces on my side, like angels, but I also feel like there's a lot of demons following me. So it's hard to say what's real and what's not. I mean, reality and whatever's outside of reality kind of blend together all the time. So there's no way to really tell what's going on. Like, there could be a whole lot of external forces at play impacting reality, and we would never know that. So I think it's important to remember that what we see is not necessarily what's actually happening. it's just a part of what's happening. We're just seeing a snapshot of reality. And I believe that once you die, you see a greater force, or a greater spiritual essence that will make you understand and reflect on life, and make you realize what exactly you were experiencing, and how beautiful it is, like how beautiful it is to be alive. I think being alive is one of the greatest gifts that we've ever been given. But sometimes living on earth or in reality can feel like hell. And that's a reality for a lot of people. I mean, sometimes my life is hell. So, but heaven and hell are like, they go back and forth. They kind of interact with each other. You can go from heaven one day to hell the next day, and it's maybe somewhere in between other days, but it's unpredictable. Um, Life is death. I think that's one of my greatest philosophical um, ideas that I've ever created. Life is death, because it makes you wonder, like, what is the difference between living and dying? Is it the same thing? Are we always living, or are we always dying? You know? So I believe that life moves on after you die. I believe you continue to exist in some way, shape, or form. But so maybe when we die, it's not the end of life. Life keeps moving when you die, and when you live, you're in your process of dying already. When I'm living right now, I'm in the process of dying. As time goes on, I get older, I get closer to death, and then death happens eventually. So, yeah, these are just some thoughts that I had spiritually and philosophy. There's a lot more of that, where that came from, but I'm gonna hopefully keep making some more videos if I have the time. Try to get some stuff out there. It only takes 10-15 minutes to get these videos out, so hopefully you guys find something in these videos that you can latch on to, and stuff that helps. So I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.